Regeneration, what even is it? I'm Dan Smith, farmer and consultant here in the Wye Valley in Monmouthshire. Now what I really set out to explore was whether the growing movement in regenerative agriculture can inspire future generations who are particularly conscious about the environment and their futures into our industry. Because I really believe that to create the innovation that we need and to move forward in this space, we need to engage those from outside to really push the boundaries. So to begin with, I did a few things. I surveyed lots of young people, and I consider myself supremely privileged to have worked with teenagers over the last 10 years who fall with outside agricultural industry, and I wanted their opinion on why they don't see farming as a future for them when it's so intrinsically linked to their daily lives. It's a big part of our culture, or certainly historically has been a big part of our culture, and they're incredibly environmentally aware and concerned going forward. The other thing I set out to discover was where really, really good regenerative farming is happening, what the data looks like, what that means for a business in terms of profitability and sustainability, how this is viewed in the supply chain, and how can we leverage this to bring more people on board. And for me, as a generational farmer who farms with his family, there are many, many, many elements of the culture in agriculture that represents, but I've also discovered there's actually quite a lot of the culture in agriculture that I can't get on with. And I think we're very quick to defend with our pride and many of the things that make us great: resilience, adaptivity. But I've also found that we're not particularly accepting. Racism, sexism, ageism, I've seen all over the world. We seem to not want to engage with these issues, but actually when we're looking at moving forward, and in my case, attracting new entrants in, and new talent in, as well as actually retaining the good people within our industry, I think we actually let ourselves down here. There are two other things that I found really challenging. One is people who are entering into the industry at, let's say, university age, or perhaps even later, who are not from farming, tend to come in with the ideologies based on romance of the industry, based on the environmental change that they can have as part of a regenerative system. But what they often lack is the business and the resilience to make it a long-term project. And I've also often found projects that are bankrolled by really wealthy people, and for me, that removes the integrity of what we're trying to achieve as farmers, and it makes it unachievable for lots of other people. The other issue, actually, when we talk of integrity, is what's happening in our supply chain. And whilst I think we need advancements in how we look at regenerative agriculture, in the time of my study, it has, in my opinion, been taken over and used as a marketing tool. Now, if I'm really honest, I much prefer solutions to problems, and I struggle to find that silver bullet, despite there being many, many, many amazing projects around the world and lots of good people doing great stuff. So in our own little way, we've decided to do our own thing. So on our farm here, we're tenant farmers, and our landlords are allowing us to sublet various spaces. So we've got flower grower, market gardeners, people using our buildings for craft and for their own businesses such as wood turning. We're looking at developing an honesty shop. We have a permanent meeting space in an old barn where people can come and join us and discuss lots of these things. Because we hope that by being open and changing some of that culture whilst being embedded in a really, really healthy, profitable farming system can actually shine a light for some people. One of my concerns for this was actually the scalability. Now, I've always had a consultancy business where I can go and talk herbal lays, or I can talk soil, or we can talk livestock management, all of these things. But actually what's really surprised me, that completely organically, it's moved into a space where I now have people approaching me, and I feel really privileged that now I can go and engage with these people, and actually I can help them to secure similar systems. They want to be engaging with different demographics. They want to be growing good, healthy, nutrient-dense food going into the future, and they want their farming systems to be an addition to the environment rather than a negative. Now, the great news is I have seen this happen all over the world, and we're using our learnings here to directly transfer that to really help these people out. And that's where I feel that the scalability and the change can come.